I'm going to show you a new feature called macros. And that's these guys. It's just batched commands. Okay, so I've built a few macros. One is for, and they kind of just logically should be put where you think they need to go. Song with a timer reset. That's going to go at the beginning of each song. It's going to set this up to look, like this, and it's going to reset that timer. I think if I click it, yeah. So you see it when I click the macro, it just activated it and showed you. It does a clear all, it changes the audience look, it sets up the stage screens, and it starts that timer again. So that's great. But then there will also be times that you want to have this view with the transparent background for the online and this screen setup, but you might not want to reset the timer. In that case, you have this macro, song, no timer. So as I'm clicking it, you'll see, obviously it's doing nothing because we're already here, but the takeaway there is that it's not resetting the clock. Then we have a pre-liturgy with a timer reset. So that's going to change everything and restart the timer. You would throw that in before any liturgy. You also have liturgy with no timer, which again does the same stuff, but the one with the timer reset obviously resets the timer. The one without the timer reset lets it go. And then finally, this one is for announcement slide. That's going to go on any of the announcement slides. So real quick, I'm just going to show you how this would work. So for instance, this week, for Fire Fall Down. All right, I'm going to remove all these actions real quick. Okay, so let's say we're coming off of, I'm going to just take us to like a liturgy or something. All right, so we're like at a liturgy, just to demonstrate how this does affect a lot of stuff. So song with timer reset, just drag and drop into the first one. Okay, so now when I click that slide, it goes ahead and does everything. And then when I advance the slide, there it is. I don't know why the color right here is wrong, but I think it's just because the projectors aren't on. So that's an example of how you would use that. So now you're not going through and adding all these different things. You're just adding a macro. I've already got one on here for this liturgy. So say, the song ends blank, and then we're going to a liturgy. So when I click here, it does the liturgy macro. And then when I pull up the liturgy slide, there it is. Timer's running, everything looks good. And then when I come down here for the next one, the macro fires, there it goes. Now this is an example of, now we know that before the liturgy starts, we want to see the red screen, not the white screen. So what we would want to do is I'm just going to start from scratch here. That's where we would use here, instead of pre-liturgy with timer reset. Well, let's see if that one does what I want it to do. Yeah. So that's why we have that pre-liturgy with timer reset. Now, if you want to do redundancies, like say your slide operator misses this slide and just goes to the next slide. Well, there's your problem. It's not going to look right online. Okay. And that's because before we fire off the liturgy, we need that red screen, and we achieve that through, the theme that creates the red screen with the text in the lower thirds. So what you need to do here is you really need to do this pre-liturgy, and then you need to throw the liturgy with no timer on right there. So this is, it's a little annoying to have to put two macros in, but it makes sense why you need to do that. And then right there, you see we've come to the end of it, and we want that to return to the red slide. So you would probably here do a song with no timer liturgy, or song with no timer macro. And you see that returns everything to normal. The clock is still running the way it's supposed to. So all that, again, is pre-liturgy, a liturgy macro, and then a macro at the end to just kind of get the screen back to where it should be. So during liturgies, it's a lot more complicated. During songs, it's really simple. We start with a blank song. Go to the first blank, song with a timer. Here we go. And there it is. It will do everything it needs to do. You get to the end and it's all good. So with liturgies, it's a little more complicated. With songs, it's super simple, super straightforward. So I'll show you another liturgy one more time. Let's remove all actions. So we would go pre-liturgy with a timer reset. And then we're going to go liturgy no timer. And then we're going to do a song no timer. And that gets everything set up and starts the timer. That makes everything look right for the liturgies. That makes everything kind of wipe away, but still runs the clock, just in case there's some talking or something that happens there. The only other place that is somewhat complicated would be for announcements. So let's go here to announcements. Okay. So something in here is wrong. This isn't really set up correctly. Let's try welcome and announcements. Okay, that's better. So we want welcome and announcements. Okay, so the way that you would do announcements would be the first blank here. That needs to set everything up. I would go with this one. Let's try pre-liturgy with timer reset. Okay. All right, so that just set everything up. Everyone can see the person who's doing the announcements. Then when they actually announce the announcement, I have this announcement slide macro. Okay, which I've already put in there. When I click that, everything shows up the way it should. And then, as you know, we go back to a blank slide. Now here, all I've done is just put a clear all on that, which allows the timer to keep running. The other option would be, instead of a clear all, you could do like a liturgy no timer. Oh, nope, see? Can't do that. You would do a song no timer. So from the beginning, here we go, the clock reset, they say the slide, there it goes, it pops up, and then that goes away. That's fine. Probably the easiest thing to do here is actually just to have a clear all. That's gonna make sure that that rear monitor stays looking the way that they expect it to look. And so you would keep adding more of these slides with the announcement macro on it, and then you would add another one of these with just a clear all on it. And so the same would be true for every other piece of liturgy and song.